Kirk trying to win it to Thielen, caught at the 5.
I got 3 words for you. You like that?
No!
Okay. That really sucked. Yeah, I can't really deny it. I mean, you saw it, I saw it, literally everybody saw it. That was a royal ass whooping. And there's really no way to sugarcoat that. So, let's just talk about it. So as everybody saw, the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings faced off yesterday at noon. And the Packers came in to US Bank Stadium on opening day and completely rearranged the Vikings' guts. It's not even an understatement. I mean, if you look at the score right here, it looked like it was a fair fight, but, once we get into it, you will figure out that it was not really a fair fight at all. So, I guess I'll just... Damn it, I don't want to talk about this. Okay, so let's get the obvious thing out of the way. The Minnesota Vikings secondary, it needs work. It needs a lot of work. If you take a look, the oldest player in that secondary, at least for the corner position, I should specify, is Chris Boyd at 24 years old. Now, if you're not well versed in the world of NFL football, you'd think, oh, that's pretty good. Young, fast guys, ready to learn and become better. No, okay, no. I'm sorry, but none of these guys learned from Xavier Rhodes when he was good, or really anybody else, Trey Waynes, all that. These guys are all basically rookies, it feels like, and Aaron Rodgers treated them just like that. There's a reason his stat line looked like this, and Davante Adams' stat line looked like this. It was just a massacre. The one thing I did realize, though, is that Aaron Rodgers, at least from the looks of things, is going to rely very heavily on players like Davante Adams this year. And if teams can figure out how to limit the use of Davante Adams in that offense, they could probably shut down the passing game as a whole, because guys like Lazard and Valdez-Scantling, they got their fair share of catches and even a few touchdowns here and there, but they weren't targeted as much, and I don't even know if Aaron Rodgers threw to a tight end at all during the game. So that's just something I kind of noticed. And the Packers' run game, very, very well executed as well. Matt LaFleur used all 4 of his running backs, and they all did quite well, even rookie A.J. Dillon, and man, it was just a tough game all around. And part of that, we have to understand, is because of the absence of Danielle Hunter. Now, I'm not putting all of this on the absence of Danielle Hunter. You also are missing Michael Pierce, 2 veterans that, are very big in the run game, and, their absences were really felt, and I cannot tell you how excited I am for Danielle to come back in, hopefully, week 4. Now, let's move over to the offense, because that's what everyone wants to talk about, because that's where a lot of the changes were seen on this team. Now, as we know, Stephon Diggs left over the offseason, so Adam Thielen's the number 1 guy, and then number 2, you got B.C. Johnson, and then Justin Jefferson. You got a little bit out of B.C. Johnson and Justin Jefferson. Adam actually had a very nice game. Granted, like Kirk, some of his stats came in garbage time, and yes, you can make that argument, but he still had, whatever this is, 100-something yards. I'm pretty sure it was 2 touchdowns. I don't remember off the top of my head. And, you got Kirk. And as we all know, you get either a good Kirk or you get a bad Kirk. And you got a little bit of both in this game. And part of that is on Kirk, and part of that is on play calling. Now, if you look at it, Gary Kubiak and the entire offensive staff, everyone that's calling plays, they called, I think it was 4 or 5 pass plays in the entire first half. Now, granted, the Vikings only had, right around a dozen or so plays in the first half. I mean, that was partially because there were so few pass plays. I mean, yes, it's nice to rely on Dalvin, and he was a bright spot in the offense today, even though he only had 50 yards. He still had, I'm pretty sure, 2 touchdowns. I don't know, throw up the stats right here. But it's just really tough, especially when Kirk obviously missed that one throw to Adam that was a little behind him, and that really was a turning point in the game. That, along with the safety, which frankly, yes, Kirk had basically no time to avoid that, but also Jair Alexander was kind of out there on his own, and Kirk probably should have been able to read that, but I'm not putting it all on him, just simply because there was some offensive line issues today, but there was definitely flashes of bad Kirk. Luckily, you did get some of the good Kirk later in the game, which unfortunately in bad games for the Vikings is when you can usually see good Kirk. And people say, he's not a good quarterback because, his stats are inflated from playing in garbage time. And you're definitely right in many aspects of that, but you cannot deny the beauty of this throw right here to Adam Thielen. It was, again, yes, the Packers were playing soft coverage, essentially prevent defense, just, let them get yards and just try to keep them out of the end zone if you can, but it's not really that big of a deal because you have such a big of a lead. But man, that pass was really nice, and it just continues to prove that Kirk, when given time and the proper protection, which I know is a very specific situation that not every quarterback has the luxury of, while it's specific, he has one of, if not the best deep balls in the league. You put him up there with even guys like Pat Mahomes. And I know it sounds crazy to say, but there are aspects of the game where Kirk is really, really good. And today it also showed in the run game too, which I don't know about you, but I didn't expect that in the slightest. But there was a few times where Kirk genuinely felt the pressure, dare I say, but there was it was like 3 or 4 good runs that he had where he felt the pressure and he got out of the pocket somehow and turned it into a 10, 12-yard gain. So whether that's going to be a consistent thing we see from Kirk is yet to be seen, because this is obviously one game where the situation wasn't ideal for the most part of the game, but it was definitely nice to see a change from Kirk. I'm really excited for that, but that kind of wraps up things from Kirk. You got some good, you got some bad. It's kind of the usual, but for the most part, this was not a great game by Kirk, but it wasn't a great game by the whole team. Now, luckily, Justin Jefferson actually did get a little bit of action. It was a little later in the game during that garbage time sort of thing, yada, yada, yada. But, he had a few good catches, and he had one real good move on one of his catches to juke out. I don't even remember who it is. If I can find the footage, I'll put it right there. Whatever. If I can't, I'm sorry. But I like what I'm seeing so far. It's better than, when we got Laquan Treadwell and he was catching, 3 or 4 passes his entire rookie season. Justin got that just today. So I'm pretty happy about that. But as a whole, I didn't really want to have to make this video. I really wanted to make it if we had won, but we didn't. So I kind of really didn't want to make this video, but, you guys need to know the facts and how I feel, just so you can have a general gauge of where you should feel this team is going. And it's really tough, especially without guys like Daniil. And, if Kirk plays like he did and the offensive line plays like they did, then it's tough because this team can't completely rely on Dalvin Cook, as nice as that would be. It's just not possible, okay? You could look back at, 2012 Adrian Peterson literally carrying the team to the playoffs over 2,000 yards on the ground. But that's a very special situation. It doesn't happen with literally anybody except for Adrian Peterson. But while Dalvin's a great back, and I'm really glad that he got paid, he only can do so much before Kirk needs to step in. And Kirk certainly will step in. The whole no preseason thing kind of messed things up a little bit too. And let me tell you, my God, this whole thing with the no fans, I understand, okay? I'm not one of those people that is 100% capacity, da-da-da-da. I'm fine with teams like the Chiefs and the Jaguars and stuff like that doing, 25, 40, 50% capacity, as long as they're doing it right and they're doing it safe. But, you guys know how good Aaron Rodgers is at the hard count and getting teams to jump on third down offsides to get first downs, right? He's really good at doing that at home because the crowd knows that, they need to quiet down to be able to let the defense hear the hard count. But, when he's usually at places like US Bank Stadium or literally anywhere else, if it's third down, it's super loud because they're trying to, help the defense out. But there's nobody there, and they're pumping in some crowd noise, but they can hear everything. So Aaron Rodgers at home, when the Vikings are at home, still has that advantage. And he took advantage of us about 3 or 4 times just in this game. And it really did kill things. But the real turning point was that safety and then Kirk's interception. Luckily, things did turn around a little bit, but obviously not enough looking at the final score. So that's kind of just everything that I've gathered from this. There's some play calling issues. As per usual, there's still offensive line issues. Brian O'Neill let up a sack today, which never happens. I think he's given up now 2 or 3 in a span of, 2 and some change seasons. So and then obviously you have the cornerback room needs something done. Whether it is going out to get somebody, some veteran free agent, just somebody with some experience, because the guys out there right now, as much as I want Cameron Dantzler and Mike Hughes and Jeff Gladney to pan out, at this moment, with no preseason work and very limited experience from the guys that aren't rookies, it's just not going to work, and teams are going to find easy ways to pick us apart, just like Aaron and Devontae Adams did today. So I feel that is where our biggest need is, and if something doesn't get done, things may not go very well, and we might not even be a playoff team. Like, right now, people are saying Vikings could win their division, they could be a fringe playoff team, like one of the wild cards, but right now, if we play like we did today every single game, and Kirk only plays around this level and maybe a little better from time to time, then things can get really bad really quick. So we just need to keep our fingers crossed and just hope that, man, things can turn for the better. And we gotta hope that Danielle Hunter is able to make a big impact when he comes back, because it was definitely felt today in all aspects on defense. But that's all I got. So that's gonna wrap up this video. The video I really didn't want to make, but obviously you guys need to hear things like this, and I appreciate if you watched all the way through. I know this kind of got a little long. I love to ramble. If you don't know me, that's how that goes. But as I said in the last video, and I'm going to be saying in every video, if you are new to the channel and you like what you saw, make sure you hit the button down right there, wherever that is on your screen, and subscribe. If you really like this video, hit the like button as well. And if you want other people to hear about the game, hear a somewhat non-biased opinion, I didn't feel like I was very biased today, share it. Let everyone know how the game went if they somehow missed it. Show them my opinion if you think it was a good one. But other than that, that's all I have for today, and I will see you guys for week 2 picks coming out hopefully this Wednesday. So I'll see you guys then. Adios.